Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest stream of the Dark Souls 3 walkthrough. So this time we're going to be having a look at Crucifixion Woods. Now Crucifixion Woods is not as big an area as Undead Settlement, so it should be a quicker stream, but I'm going to show you some of the fun things that you can do there in terms of the NPCs, and also we'll be getting Orbeck of Vinheim, and beating the Crystal Sage, and we'll be picking up a Pyromancy Tome, and a coal there as well. So there's a couple things that we're going to be picking up. Those are the main important things. There's also an undead, a Estus Flask Shard in this area as well. So without much further ado, let's get into it. Firstly, I'm just going to need to upgrade my weapon. I haven't done that since last time, and I like to just include those things in the walkthrough so you can see what I've been doing in terms of my upgrading and what weapons I tend to use, just because I find them to be pretty good with the build I'm using. So we're going to head to Andre. We're going to talk to him and find out what we can upgrade. So we can upgrade our broadsword once more, and we can also upgrade, we should be able to upgrade the Irithel Straight Sword once or twice. A little bit short of souls. I'm just going to sell a soul item if I have some. There we go. Let's just use that one, that'll do. And that'll let me upgrade both my broadsword and my Irithel Straight Sword again. There we go. Okay, let's head to Road of Sacrifices, and from there we'll be getting to Crucifixion Woods. Okay, so Road of Sacrifices. There's a couple of things to pick up. There is a cleric, what do you call them? The Braille Tomes that you can pick up for Arena. So we got Arena from the Undead Settlement in the last video. In this video we'll be able to get her to sell a few more faith spells. Miracles, that's the word for them, not faith spells. So as you can see, we picked up a Shriving up there. That's not really one that you need to worry about too much, but if you do decide that you don't like your what you've infused with, you can use it just to revert your weapon to base. You don't need one though if you want to change your weapon into a different infusion. So most of the time you won't need one. I picked up a soul item just behind the caravans there, if you noticed that. And again, these guys aren't too hard if you get behind them. It's mostly they'll attack you, and they'll spam attack you if you stay in front. Try and kill them as quick as possible though, because they do deal damage if you don't. Over here to the left, you fight the Butcher. That allows us to get the Butcher's Knife. There's also the Brigand Axe, and there's Brigand Twin Daggers, and the Brigand set here as well. So mostly you'll see what I'm doing with this fight is I will just tack me, so I get close enough to bait an attack, and then I will, once she actually does, I'll roll behind and go for the backstab. Doesn't always work. If you find that's too much of a struggle, try and notice after she's attacked. You'll get an opportunity for a spam attack, so you can stun lock her a little bit there. Watch out for those vampires. They do get quite annoying. Shield can help, it is mostly physical damage. Attacks are quite useful as well, especially when she's buffing or backstabs. And Brigand Twin Daggers can be quite useful if you want to quick step through the swamp. Notice that she's just dropped the Butcher Knife. Now Butcher Knife is actually quite a good weapon, especially if you're going for a strength build, because it means that you can actually regenerate HP every time you hit, and if you use its special weapon art, you can regenerate even more health points every time you hit. Again, make sure you hit that one that's lying down first, and then get behind the other. Titanite Shard up there. Useful item to make sure you grab. Now, you can choose to drop down on the right first, or you can choose to kill these Corvians first. I find that the Corvians get a lot more annoying if you don't kill them first, so I just immediately come behind and finish them off before I go down by the tome. And if you've got a high enough upgraded weapon, these guys are a pushover, because you can just get enough damage in before they have a chance to spread their wings and transform. Ember up here by the sorcerer one. He also has a chance to drop this Storyteller's Staff, which is quite useful for poisoning enemies. Just a side note. Yeah, you can go and fight dogs, so just watch out for them as you come past here. That'll just mean that you don't have to deal with them as you get the items. Oh, watch out for the jump attack too. Very rare that they get that on me. I want to roll out the way. It's the Braille Divine Tome. That'll allow Tears of Denial and some other spells. And Morn's Ring is useful if you are thinking of going for a cleric build, because it'll increase the power of your miracles, increase the damage. That's pretty much it for the Road of Sacrifices area. We're now going to be moving on to Crucifixion Woods. Okay, so Henri and Horace are over here, so we'll talk to them.
I am Henri of Astora, unkindled like you. This is Horace, a friend and travelling companion. Are you too in search of the Lords of Cinder?
So she's in search of the Lords of Cinder, but she's specifically looking for Aldrich.
The Crucifixion Woods. Beyond the flooded woods lies Farron Keep, home of the Undead Legion. Further yet is the Cathedral of the Deep.
And to get to Aldrich, we have to go through Farron Swamp, Farron Keep, so through the Abyss Watchers, through the Catacombs, and then we'll be getting to Irithel, and past Pontiff we'll get to Aldrich.
Oh yes, Horace. He's not very talkative, but don't think ill of him. He's an upstanding without his help.
Interesting side point, you can actually kill the NPCs here, and if you kill Horace first, Henri just gives up, she won't even fight back. So she relies on Horace a lot as her support through this journey. And again, we don't get anything from Horace. He doesn't speak throughout the entire Dark Souls 3. So we got the Blue Sentinels Covenant there. Make sure you do pick that up from Horace. That'll allow you to help, and if someone else is invaded, you can go and help them. Now there's two paths you can take. You can go down to the left there, but I would recommend dropping down to the right because there is a item down on the right here. You're going to pick up a soul item. Additionally, if we drop down to the left here, you can actually pick up another Titanite shard. These guys with the trees, do be very careful. They do a lot of damage, so make sure your shield's up if they look like they're going to be able to hit you. Primarily get behind them, do not try and attack them from in front. And once you backstab one, you get a chance to not have to worry about the other one while you're doing that, and then you can get behind the other one as well. So there's the Titanite shard I was talking about. There are quite a few other items in the swamp. We will get them in a sec. We're going to just follow the path up to the left here first, because there's some more Titanite shards. So, there's one in this crevice, and if we continue along the side wall here, there's some poisonous mushrooms down this area. Just hit the first couple, grab the Titanite shard, and you can get out of there. I wouldn't worry about killing all of them to get poisoned. Make sure you're killing the tree guys as you go, because they will get annoying. There's the great shield that we just picked up there. It's not the best great shield in the game. It doesn't have 100% physical resist, but it is the lowest strength requirement out of the great shields. So if you want an early great shield with lots of stability, that's a good one to grab if you don't have the strength. But again, I wouldn't recommend that shield as a primary shield. Again, these guys do like to gang up on you, so make sure that you're using the backstab method just to ease up on that long range they have. I'd recommend lighting the bonfire but not resting if you have enough Estus, because this area there's quite a lot to it and we don't want to have to deal with those enemies over and over and over again. So again, backstab method if you can. That's the danger of not getting the backstab, is you will have someone else try and hit you. Now my method here, some people don't like it. I think it's personally a really good way, easy way of taking out enemies, is summoning Hodrick. So if you are embered, you're able to pick up this Mad Phantom. Now Mad Phantoms can either help you to defeat the enemies, or they can actually turn on you. So he will turn on me if there's no enemies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead him down to some. We will actually get invaded by Hazel here, as part of the Rosaria's Fingers Covenant. So what we'll do is we'll get Hodrick to chase us down to where we get invaded. He'll then fight some of the enemies along the way, and he'll also fight the crab for us, which can be a bit of a help. It also means that he loses a bit of health, because trying to kill Hodrick if he's after you is quite annoying. Hodrick is a lot stronger here than last time, so be warned, don't try and engage him if you don't have the experience with Dark Souls 3. Not don't try and engage him, but expect for it to be a very, very difficult fight if you want to fight him one-on-one with none of this help. So notice the crabs attacked him, so he will now retaliate on the crab. While they're busy, we can go and trigger the Hazel fight. So if we just run a little bit further down the swamp here, that should trigger the Hazel fight. Again, try to stay the other side of the enemies so that Hodrick's inclined to help. Now that Hazel's come in, we can actually help Hodrick a little bit with the crab. Because primarily we want Hodrick to help us with Hazel. You'll notice that going on behind this battle, and you can riposte the crabs. You'll see now they're starting to fight. So there's Hazel and there's Hodrick, both having a little bit. And you can just literally stand back and watch this if you want to. This is just a lot easier way than having to take each of them on individually. Hodrick does a lot of damage, as you can see there. He almost one-shotted Hazel. Yep, so Hazel's gone. And you will get the souls from that as well, so added benefit. If Hodrick does survive that battle, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes Hazel actually does win that battle, which is unusual, but it happens. Grab the Fallen set over here, and we're going to walk over to where these are. Now they are hostile NPCs. They do have the Exile armor and some heavy weapons like the Great Club and the Exile Greatsword. They will drop those as well once you kill them. Two ways of taking them out. You can go up to the ladder, so you can go up to the ladder up top there, and you can stand on the first rung and they'll fall off. Or if you've got Hodrick still in the battle, it's worth getting them to fight it out, just because then Hodrick should end up dying in this battle, or at least he'll be low on health when he goes to face the last crab. The Exiles are actually doing a very good job this time. Typically Hodrick will do a better job, but what I'll do now, seeing as Hodrick is winning it, I'll just help out. Sorry, seeing as they're winning it, I'll help Hodrick out. Okay, that's fine. Hodrick's died, so that now gives us an opportunity to show off the cheese method for these. So getting onto the first rung of the ladder, make sure they're following you. They might not be following me. No, here they are. First rung of the ladder, and I'll just stay there. Usually they won't follow me down. If they do, you can just hit them a couple times. Make sure you keep getting your stamina back. Oh, we didn't get our stamina back there. Usually they will just fall straight off and die, but possibly because we engaged Hodrick, they were more inclined to follow me down. It's actually very unusual that's happened. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me. But that is the method. Usually they'll fall off, as you saw one of them do, and you shouldn't have a problem. We're going to focus a little bit more on the items now rather than the enemies, so we will just take on the crab again, show you some strategies with this crab. Again, your shield will block most of the damage. As they attack, roll out the way, get 2 hits in, and then again roll out the way. Watch out for that dog. And right bumper, left bumper spam if he does manage to grab you in the claw attack. Try to get away from that two-handed hit, and then if you can strafe around to the side of him, that often does help. Roll to the right or left if he's doing that. He will try and grab you. Biggest thing with these crabs is patience, but if you do get enough attacks in, he will stagger and give you the chance for a riposte like we saw earlier. Okay, let's go back and get our souls, and then we'll show you the rest of the items in this Crucifixion Woods area. So that exile dropped the Great Club, and now we just have one to deal with. They're not that hard if you just roll past them and then get behind them. If you can't get behind them, again, just using right bumper to stun lock them. Easiest method. So wait for his combo to finish, and then you get a nice chance to stun lock. Roll back again after about 4 hits. And just watch your spacing. So if you're far enough back, he can't get you with that, and you get the chance to counter. Homeward bones there that you can pick up. There's nothing further down that way. Going down this way, we can just pick up the bonfire to Farron Swamp. There's no need to go down this way yet. That's going to be one of our later sections. We won't come to it just yet. As a quick side note, I sometimes go through Farron Keep first, so I'll go through that area just to pick up the undead, the Estus shards and the undead bone shard. But because we're doing this walkthrough by area, it makes more sense to go Crystal Sage, Cleansing Chapel, and then we'll be coming back to Farron. And there's a reason for that. At Tenzing Chapel you'll pick up, from the boss fight, you'll pick up a doll, and that will mean that you can get through this one, what do you call it, magic barrier that is at Irithel. So once you pass the Abyss Watchers and Walnir fight, you'll be able to pick that up. So there's a soul item there, there's nothing else further that way until you get to a building. So now we're going to go left through the swamp. So going left through the swamp, there are a couple of items past that crab, so we do need to take down the crab. Again, Hodrick can sometimes help you with that if he hasn't died to the exiles. He does get a bit trapped there sometimes. Very unusual that he actually does. It does just shorten his range, so it gives you a few more opportunities to punish. Make sure you go left or right when he that breath attack, otherwise, as you see, you're moving very slowly. And once you kill that crab, he will give you the Great Swamp Ring. So another useful ring if you are going for a pyromancy build. It increases the power of your pyromancies. So there's your pyromancy tome, make sure you pick that one up. And there's the conjurator set, which is useful for going through fire areas in Smouldering Lake. It just has some good fire resist. Keep hugging the wall and you will come to this crucifix enemy. Make sure they don't get too close and grab you, that's the biggest issue. And again, watch out those mushrooms, they will potentially poison you. So, just a side note, that gate there will be a shortcut that we'll pick up once we go through Farron Swamp and we get close to the Abyss Watchers fight. So I'll point that out again in the Farron area video. Black Knight, you can already see the technique is you want to stay quite far back, wait for him to attack, roll around him, and then backstab. You will get punished if you miss that backstab, so be careful and hold up your shield. And as a note, with Black Knights and Silver Knights, you can actually hit them when they're on the ground, whereas most other enemies you'll just be hitting above them, and you have to wait for them to get up before you keep attacking. Those guys you can hit. We just picked up the Sellsword Tin Blades. They're quite a useful weapon for a Dex character. They do end up with S scaling in Dex if you upgrade them with Sharp Gem. So it can be quite useful, and then they can also be buffed. In addition, we just picked up the Farron Coal, which is useful for being able to infuse your weapons with things like heavy gems and sharp gems. And there's the Sellsword armor set up top there as well. Going back to the main swamp area, we're going to follow that along to the left hand side. Again, crucifix enemies, just get behind them and get as many attacks off as you can. Roll past their swings. And so this is the area we dropped down at the start, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the enemy items in the middle of the swamp. We've picked up most of the items on the side, we just need to go to where Orbeck is as well. So some green blossoms, continue to follow it along and you'll see another item to the left. And you can pick up the Grass Crest Shield. Grass Crest Shield allows you to regenerate stamina as you run, so it is very useful, especially if you want to have some easier strategies with speedrunning the game. Now we're going to continue in the lower swamp, picking up the green blossoms and then picking up the sorcerer's items. So there's a sorcerer armor here, as well as sorcerer robe, should I say. as well as the Sage Ring, which increases the speed of your casts. There's our Sage Ring. This is just a random drop, Titanite Shard that Crucifix enemy dropped. And then it's the Sorcerer set. You can take this area up to the left. I don't particularly like showing you that way because most people will enter the building from this direction. So we're going to head up to the bonfire. If you do need to rest at the bonfire, this is another way that you that it's good to show you this path, because then you can rest on your way to this next section. Again, we shouldn't be having to deal with most of these enemies here again, so we are able to rest without too much worry. So I'm going to rest here now. Continue on to Orbeck. So again, these guys will be back alive. I'm just going to kill them a little bit quicker this time and just sort of spam attack them. They're pretty quick to kill. Okay, continue on this direction and we'll have a couple more hollows. As you drop down here, you'll be able to pick up the Estus Shard. So that'll upgrade our Estus Flask to another use, so we'll have 8 plus 1. Ember sitting there by the Crucifix enemy. You don't have to kill these guys, but again, they can drop Titanite Shards and things, so it can be useful just to take them down. We do have the Estus for it now, so might as well. You can jump attack just to get those attacks from a distance in if you find that you just need that bit extra range to finish them. Soul item there as we're running around, and now we'll head into the main area that we need to head for the Crystal Sage fight. Again, I'm just going to show you a path. Make sure you kill that guy who's using the lantern right now first. I backstabbed the other guy first, and so this is what happens. You'll have the whole lot of enemies now coming after you. If that happens, just hide behind the wall and you'll get a chance to pop out and attack. But watch out for the Sorcerer. As you see, he just hit me there with the Soul Spear. Use your shield for these daggers, but it's not going to be as effective for the mage, so you want to take out the mage fairly soon. Over here we have the Heretic Staff, the staff that you can get if you are a Sorcerer character, or more if you're going for a Sorcery build. You can respec and change your character into whatever you choose to, but obviously staffs are for sorcery spells. So watch out for the guy with the spear, as we just killed him there. We're heading up towards Orbeck on the left hand path.
Well, what do you want? This is my study that if you haven't any business. How intriguing.
So you're able to learn sorceries from him. But the problem is you won't be able to get Orbeck until you have 10 intelligence. So he will teleport back to the Firelink, and what I'll do after this stream is finished is I will get my intelligence to 10 for the sole purpose of having Orbeck join us in Firelink. You will need to promise to bring him scrolls as well though, and that's part of his quest. Blue bug pellets there. We won't drop down just yet, we'll come to that area in a little bit. That actually leads to the Crystal Sage fight straight ahead. So now if we follow the path to the right instead of going to the left where we went, there's a crystal lizard. So we will use our holding B and right trigger attack to knock him over and then finish him off. Watch out for this guy, he will try and attack you if you try and get the crystal lizard. Same as watch out above, you will have a mage trying to shoot at you. What I like to do is just pop out this area just to avoid that first spell if he does it. And then finish this guy off. You'll have to roll pretty quick after finishing him. And now we can backstab the mage. building and drop down, and keep going in the opposite direction to where you drop down, and you'll pick up a ring of sacrifice. In addition, if we go back up the staircase slightly, we can follow that path where we hid to the left, and we can pick up the golden falcon shield. I'm going to go with golden falcon shield. Yes. And so that's actually, if you played through Dark Souls 2, that's actually the shield that those falconers use, those red falconers at the start of the game. Sorry, not red, but they spawn in only in New Game Plus. So if you've started New Game Plus and you have the guys who use birds against you right at the start, the falconers with the falconer shield, they are in the base game, but they don't have the birds in the base game or the shield in the base game. So I just thought that was quite again, quite a few enemies in this area. If you want to take them all out, I recommend following this path to the right first, dealing with the few on the right hand side, and then popping in and dealing with the few on the left. Watch out for that hole. If you fall down there, you will have to be fighting the crucifix enemy. But if you do fall down there, there is a quick path back up. So we're just going to follow that path straight back up into the room that we're in, and then we'll deal with the enemies on the left hand side of that room. There's no items in there, so you can run straight to the Crystal Sage fight if you choose. I'm just showing you a way to kill all enemies in this game. So stay on the left hand side. It helps to avoid the spells coming from the soul spears. And then if you just use those pillars to your advantage and get behind these mages, it's the easiest way to finish them off. Okay, what we're going to do before we go and do the sage fight is we're going to go back to the bonfire and rest. Always a good idea before a boss fight to make sure that you are on full health before you do it. The enemies will respawn, so I've shown you the way to kill all the enemies. Now we're just going to run through the area straight to the boss fight. We have picked up all the items in Crucifixion Woods, so you don't need to worry about getting any more items here. Just going to do the boss fight, and then it'll be on the way to Cleansing Chapel. So that'll be next stream will be Cleansing Chapel. We'll just make our way to the sage fight for now. So again, if you just stick to the left hand path, you'll mostly avoid all the enemies. Again, same thing here. Watch out for that spear. Stick to the left, and you can just pop out past these mages. Make sure to roll, as that guy will use his soul spear on you. Okay, Crystal Sage. Now Crystal Sage, there is a good technique that you can use. If he puts his soul masses above his head, stay on one side of him, and you'll get 3 soul masses come at you, or you should do. Make sure you keep that one up in the air. As long as that one's up in the air, he actually can't teleport out of the arena, and so you can just keep getting hits on him in the first phase. Unfortunately, that soul mass just did come out from him, so you have to be really careful about how you rotate. So stay in close most of the time, and you will just spam attack him as much as you can, because if you don't do that, he's just going to keep teleporting, so you want to deal as much damage as possible. Second phase, there'll be multiple, so you'll be needing to go to the edge of the arena. As you can see, he just teleported away, and now we have multiple copies. So make sure you look out for the edge of the arena. Typically he'll spawn there. If you find this really hard, try and kill the copies first, so that you don't have to dodge too many spells, and also use the pillars to your advantage. So if I hide behind here, I can get some Estus back, and I can then come back into the fight and finish off some of the copies. Notice that the copies have the blue spells that come out from them, whereas the Crystal Sage, the purple spells that he sends off. Oh, watch out for that that Crystal Soul stream. Sorry, Crystal Soul. I don't even remember what it's called. Very dangerous attack. If he does that attack, you want to roll left or right. You don't want to roll forward or back towards him. Here we go, copies. Most likely this will be another copy. And then this one might be the real guy. No, he's spawned on the other side. Keep rolling left to right as those soul masses will come at you. And then now we will be able to finish him off as he was on low health. Bonfire will spawn just here once you finish that fight. Fairly short stream, hope you guys enjoyed it. Next stream we'll be going from the Crystal Sage to the Cleansing Chapel. Now that's going to be a much bigger area to explore, add a few more items as well to pick up. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you on the next stream for Cleansing Chapel. Thanks, see you on the next one.